What's up, everybody? It's me, Coach Mills, and today we gotta talk about Ramattra actually getting nerfed already. And he hasn't even been released yet, but things about his kit have already been changed, and it's very interesting, the timing and how it happened, so we gotta break it all down. But if you enjoy this content, do me a huge solid and smash that like and subscribe. It really supports the channel, and let's get right into it. Now, Ramattra has been full revealed, and we already broke down all of Ramattra's abilities in a previous video, and for the most part, the community is just really hyped about Ramattra. People are really excited. And Ramattra has a crazy amount of abilities, just all over the place. There have even been fun little graphics comparing all of Ramattra's abilities compared to some of the older characters in the game. And it's definitely interesting to see a character this freaking stacked with so many diverse things. There was obviously a lot of effort put into this character, but there was something added to the description of the ultimate ability of Ramattra that had a ton of streamers and a ton of people all over the place just freaking out, and it was the Annihilation Ultimate. Now, as you know, Annihilation's an ultimate that turns Ramattra into the Nemesis form, the Brawl form, and if you're near enemies, it makes it so that Annihilation never ends. It's going to do slight damage to them, and it's going to make it so you can stay into Nemesis form forever and just keep brawling and brawling and brawling. So on overtime objectives, you're going to be someone that basically gets to stay dealing damage to enemies, stay lasting in your ultimate. Enemies have to keep touching, so your ultimate's never going to end, and it's going to be something that's great to close fights out. But there was something that was in there that was not included in the press releases, and it said this, quote, dealing damage and reducing enemy damage dealt by 50%. Now, this is an absolute absurd ending. The ultimate's already strong as is, but being able to prevent enemy damage by 50%. Like, imagine you're in overtime, you're Ramattra, you pop into your Annihilation, and you just get to stand there and block and protect yourself while everyone around you does 50% less damage and is constantly taking damage, and it will not end. Like, it will just not end. So all your teammates coming in will just take 50% less damage because the enemies are doing nothing. They're fighting enemies that are low, and the ultimate just stays active. That sounds completely like some of the most busted thing we've ever seen. Like, it was absurd, and streamers and pros all over the place were like, what is this? This is ridiculous. This is broken. This is busted. And yeah, it just kind of blew up on Twitter. But then Blizzard actually came out with an announcement, and they said this: Ramattra's ultimate Annihilation should actually read, and they actually changed it, and they removed the 50% less damage dealt by the enemy in the Annihilation ultimate. So it does all the same stuff, but it doesn't actually reduce damage. Now, according to them, this was actually a written mistake, and it was not intended to be released this way, and it was actually just a straight up error of Ramattra. Like, Ramattra just doesn't have this ability. It was not planned, or it was not in Ramattra's kit, and it was just added on accident. Now, the thing is, it seems like this was kind of intentional, that this was either at some point in testing, either far back in line or recently. So this idea was in there, but it was actually quickly figured out that it was just completely absurd and busted. But it also could have been in there pretty recently. Like, basically, due to the reaction of Ramattra, Blizzard could have been like, you know what, that's probably overkill, and took it back. Now, they didn't really showcase this in any of the big trailers or anything like that, so it doesn't seem to me like maybe it was already slated in, and this is like something like a nerf that's happened reactionary. I don't think that that's true, nor do we have any proof, so it's best not to make claims like that, but I do think that this was in Ramattra's kit 100% at some point. Now, how far back that was, unclear. How that even was an idea to be put into the kit in the first place, I have no freaking idea, because it's just absolutely absurd. And even without that, even with Ramattra getting quote-unquote nerfed pre-release already, I still think that ultimate is just nuts. Like, it's just so powerful, being able to extend in overtime or in a fight, like a long fight that enemies can't retreat from. You're about to cap an objective, for instance, just being able to be like this permanent surviving thing that constantly deals damage to enemies and just never dies. That's insane. And I do think that even without the 50% damage, Ramattra's fine. She's still going to be incredibly powerful, potentially. But yeah, that 50% damage, I have no idea. That's just nuts. And I'm really, really glad that it's been removed from the kit. I don't care actually when it happened. I'm just glad it did. So yeah, you let me know how you feel about Ramattra as a character? Do you think this is a character that is obviously super overpowered because of power creep? Do you think this is a character that is actually fine and people are overreacting? Do you think that the nuance in this kit is good for the game, or would you rather the characters be more simple instead of having so much complexity? I want to hear your opinion about all of it down below. Let me know, and thank you so much for coming by. I'll see you next time.